Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bedinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Denver, Colorado. I'm so glad you could join me today. I have a great fun little card for you made out of the Love Always Suite, I think that's what it's called, Forever and Always bundle in the catalog on page 13. And I made a card that's pretty versatile. It could be used for Valentine's, it could be used for a birthday, it could be used for any number of things. So let's just get started. It's real bright and cheery. Okay, here is my card. And I was in the mood for something that reminded me that spring is around the corner. So this is the card I created. And I'm continuing to use the black and white paper. I'm going to bring the catalog in here. And it's this True Love Designer Series paper. And this time I'm using this little pattern in the back here. And I just love the graphic designs on this thing. I'm not much of a colorer, so I have a tendency, I think, on these to use the back side of these patterns. Anyway, I'm real happy with the way this one came out. And then doing the black and white and then the red, I thought it just needs a pop of color. So let me show you what I used and what I put together for this card. All right, I have a base that is real red, and my base is 8.5 by 5.5 scored and folded at 4 1/4. Then for the front, I have a piece that is 4 by 5 1/4, and I have run that through one of our embossing folders, and this was a mini embossing folder. It's this one, Meadow Moments. I just love this. It's got little flowers and leaf pattern on it. And so when I ran this through, I ran it through this way on this side of the pattern. And I first thought I would just have it be on the one side. And on this one you can see the line where I then put it back in and redid it. I think it was this way. But on this one, what I found is that if I put this in with a Stampin' Up! Sign on the top and put it just inside the folder here and run it through like this and then turn it around this way, that I could run that second run through the folder here so that you couldn't much see that line. And the way this card is organized, you can't really see it at the top and you can't really see it at the bottom, and this part in the middle is going to be covered by our panel. Now if that bothers you at all, what you could do is just run this through on the one side and leave this end blank, or put this more in the middle and leave both sides a little bit blank, and it would look just fine if you did that. So I've already run mine through my folder, and so I've got that to go on the front of my card. Then to complete the front, I ended up with this piece of the Designer Series paper, and this piece is 2 inches by 4 inches, and then I wanted that backed with a piece of white, so this is 2.5 by 4 1/4, and then backed again by red, so this is now 2.5 by 4 1/2, and that's going to sit right here on our card. Then I used these two dies from the Stitched So Sweetly. I love these together. and I did the back piece in the basic black and the front piece in the white, and that's to support the rest of our focal point on the front of this card. Then I used the dies that came with the Forever and Always suite, and those are called Always dies. And I used, let's see if I have to take these out so I can see. I used the 2 leaves. I used the one that cut out the word love, and it cuts out the L and then the rest of the word love. Then I used this die, and this die cut out that backing for this word so that I could put this on here and get this kind of an effect on the card. So I used the love die and the backing, and I used the 2 leaves, and there's one more that I used that I don't see here, and it cuts out 4 of these little flowers. I'll have to find it. It's just one little piece, but it cuts out 4 of these little flowers every time you run it through. So I ran that one through several times and came up with a bunch of little flowers. Then I used this die from the well-written die set to get the U. This one's got lots of parts and pieces, so that I could say love you on the front of this, and I cut out my U in red. Then I just wanted some bright colors, so I used my little single flower punch, and I cut flowers out of Daffodil Delight, Flirty Flamingo, Mango Melody, Magenta Madness, and I think that was pretty much it. And I cut out a bunch of flowers, and I used 3 on the front and 2 on the inside, and then there's some of my leaves that I needed. And so once I get all of this put together, then it's just a matter of putting this together. Now for the inside of the card, what I have is another piece of this designer series paper that's cut 4 by 5 1/4, and this little piece that is cut 3 1/2 by 4 3/4, so we get to see that pretty little diamond pattern around the outside. And then on this card on the inside, I added 2 more flowers, and I took one of these long leaves and cut it in half and stuck one on either side. But there we go, that's what we're going to do. So let's start by adhering. Let me move all of my little pieces kind of up here and get my dies taken care of. And so I'm going to adhere my embossed piece to the front of my card. I'm going to add some seal to the back of this. Somebody was asking the other day, they had not used seal before, and they were having some trouble getting it started. So I thought I would use this opportunity to show that again. And I'm just going to take a little piece of, just a little piece of scrap, so that I can show that when the glue is towards the top of, to get this started, and you add your glue when you get to the bottom, if you raise your runner here and check off, what that does is it brings the next patch of glue right to the top front of your tape runner. So you should be able to grab it, then come up here, check off, then the same thing across here, up and check off. And what you'll find is occasionally it doesn't work, but 99% of the time your glue is right there and available for your next time, for your next pull. And that is what I did to get the glue on my piece here. So just FYI. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is assemble this piece. And so I'm going to do that same thing. Put my glue down, and again, you'll see me more often than not raise it and check off at the back. And then your glue is always waiting for you on the other side. So here we go. I'm going to set that piece down and then add some glue to our black and white. And then I can put that down here. Now, because there's so much dimension with all of this, I did just lay this flat on the card. So that's what I'm going to do. Then I'm going to put these two pieces together. You can see once you've got all your little pieces done, the assembly of this is really pretty quick. And so, let's see, get that sort of centered in there. There we go. And then this I laid, because there's two layers on here, I think I put one dimensional on this side and then put just a little bit of glue on the other side. There we go. And I set that down a little below half. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to put this piece together. This was so much fun, and I did use a little bit of Tombow on the back of my pieces here. So I'm going to get my silicone mat out, and I'm just going to add a little bit of Tombow on the back of this piece. And set that in place. And I'll hold that down for just a second. Let Tombow get its grip. Now, if there's any residual glue on my piece, I can use my glue eraser to get that removed. There we go. Then I've got the rest of my word to put right down on here. So that's what I'm going to do, again with just a little bit of Tombow, just dotted around this word. And sometimes it helps if you use your tweezers to pick that up. Keeps your hands from getting full of glue. And there we go. And pat that into place. Give that a second to dry. And then we will add, use our glue eraser to take off any residue. All right. Oops, I have one more thing to add some glue to. but I think I'm going to wait and do that right at the end so I have the placement right where I want it. Okay, so what I'm going to show you next is how I prepared these flowers. And I used my silicone mat, my poor beat up silicone mat. And I have prepared a couple of these flowers. So I'm going to show you what I did. I just used the back of this. Now some of you will have a ball tool, and I don't know where mine is off the top. So I'm just going to use the back of this. And basically what you do is on a fun foam surface or a pierce mat to just bow the flower out like that, and then turn it over and give it a little punch in the back like that, and that gives your flower a little bit of dimension. Now I'm going to go ahead and prepare the rest of these, and I'll speed that up. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is to just put a little touch of Tombow in the center of these flowers. Like that. And then I'm going to set these little red flowers that I cut out on the inside of each of these flowers. Let those dry for a second. Let's bring this piece back and clean up any excess glue. And feeling for any, and I think that is about it. Okay, so we know we want this piece. Oops, that's not very straight on there. So like that. All right, and we want this piece to lay across here, and then we want a couple of flowers in here. So we want some of these leaves, and what I found was that I could take some of these longer leaves and cut them in half, and then using my dot runner on the back just to add a little bit of glue, that I could put those in place so they stuck out behind the flowers. So, and I'm just going to use a little bit of my dot runner to put those in place. And on this one, I think I need a little bit of a dimensional. That I need it here on my E, like that. And then I just need a little bit of glue on this side to set right in here, and that now fits. Then I'm going to take my flower. It's probably best to put your love word down first and then fill your flowers in. So next I'm going to add some glue to the back of this flower and put it in place and add a leaf. Right in there. Then one last flower. Right down in here. And I'm going to add another one of these just little red ones as a filler right down in here. And I'm going to take one of these longer leaves and see if I can coax that underneath all of these. There we go. I can take my little red flower and put it on top. And this one I ended up putting two little red ones, but I put my leaves in different places, so it's just up to you how it comes together. But I thought another leaf right over on this side made a little bit of sense. There we go. There. Now then I can tell where this U goes right down here. So on this one, because it's, well, I'm going to go ahead and use the Tombow. I was thinking it's awfully narrow, but I'm just going to put a few little dots down. Put that in place right down here. There we go. Isn't that just pretty? Now then, I did take some rhinestones, and I put my rhinestones right in the middle of my flowers. That really completes the front of this card. Now we have just the interior to do, and we're going to go ahead and add some seal on here. And put this down right here on the inside of the card. Then this piece on the inside here. And then I've got two more flowers here. I think those two. And I'm just going to add some glue to the back of that, and the back of this one, and put those in place. Overlapping a little bit. Then I'm going to take another one of these larger leaves and cut that in half and add a little bit of glue to the back of those leaves. And I think I'm going to leave the inside of mine blank for now, because I really don't know if I'm going to want this to be a birthday card or thinking of you card or Valentine's card or just what. So I'm going to slide that leaf right up in there, and then I'm going to put, oops, this half of the leaf perhaps right over here. See how that looks. There, like that. I'm not very happy with this one. We want to just take that one out and replace it. There we go. That's a little bit better. All right, so there we go. Doesn't that remind you of spring? I'm really very pleased with the way this one came out. I think it's very cheery and reminds us that spring spring is, in fact, perhaps just around the corner. And so, like I said, this one could easily take a happy birthday or be my Valentine on the inside and be just about any kind of card you wanted it to be. But that is my project for the day. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. I do so appreciate it. And if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, well, I'd love to be your demonstrator. Or you could join my team. Through the end of this month, we've got a couple weeks left, we have a special offer from Stampin' Up! For joining. You purchase your kit, $99, and get $125 worth of product, and then you get 5 packages of designer series paper, one for each of the color families and one for the 21-22 in colors this year. So it's a great deal. Let's see, this is February, so my prize draw is a $60 shopping spree on me out of any of the live catalogs. And the January prize was won by Patricia Golub. And Patricia was very excited. She's trying to figure out what it is she wants. She got the bundle of her choice out of the catalog, so she's perusing bundles and trying to figure that out. So again, that's it for me. Thanks again for stopping by, and I'll be back soon with more cards, more projects, and more tips. Bye.